It was the middle of July, during a brutal heat wave, one of those suffocating weeks where the humidity feels like a wet blanket over the whole city. The power grid had been flirting with brownouts all day, and by the time I got home from my evening shift at the diner, every local news station was warning that a full blackout was likely. I lived alone on the 6th floor of an aging 10-story apartment building just outside downtown. The place was nothing fancy. Thin walls, a rickety elevator, but the rent was cheap, and from my balcony I could see the skyline glittering at night. I'd planned to kick back with a cold beer, set a box fan in front of me, and wait out the heat. Around 11:40 p.m., the entire city finally gave up. The AC cut out, the fridge went silent, and every light died in a single blink. Outside my window, the skyline vanished, leaving only the hazy flicker of distant lightning. No breeze, no hum of traffic, just a muffled chorus of neighbors groaning in the hallways. I don't scare easily, but total darkness in a massive building makes you feel like you're on a ship lost at sea. I dug out a couple of half-dead candles, lit them on the coffee table, and opened all the windows to coax in any air. Then I settled on the couch and scrolled my phone, refreshing the utility company's outage map every minute even though my data barely loaded. At 12:07 a.m., my phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. "Is your power out too?" I stared at the screen, surprised. For a second, I assumed it was a friend messing with me, but the number had no name, no profile photo. I typed back, "Yeah, who is this?" No response. I shrugged it off, chalked it up to somebody texting the wrong digit in the dark. I killed the screen to save battery. The hallway outside my apartment was pitch black, but I could hear the occasional thud of footsteps and disgruntled voices, neighbors running up and down the stairwell looking for someone with a flashlight or a portable charger. The building suddenly felt ancient, like the blackout had peeled away decades of civilization. About 20 minutes later, the time on my phone read 12:29 a.m., that same number called me. My ringtone sounded impossibly loud in the stillness. I answered. Hello? No voice, just faint breathing. Then, underneath it, a subtle scraping noise, like fabric rubbing against rough concrete. "Who is this? You've got the wrong number." The breathing stopped. The call disconnected. Annoyed, I left the phone face down and grabbed a warm beer from the fridge. At this rate, it wouldn't stay cold anyway. I had just twisted off the cap when something outside caught my eye. The building across the street, the one with identical balconies, had a small orange glow flickering on its 9th floor, maybe another resident's candle. That's what I saw, a shape move behind my own balcony door. I froze, bottle halfway to my lips. The sliding glass pane was open to let in air, but the screen door was shut. In the glow of my candles, I could make out a silhouette pressed against the mesh, tall, motionless, head slightly cocked as if listening. I whispered, "Hello?" because my brain still wanted to believe it was a neighbor. The figure didn't answer. It simply turned and walked away, the light from inside outlining shoulders and the edge of a hood before it vanished into the night. No sound. No creak of balcony rails, no footsteps. My heart hammered. I rushed over and slid the glass door shut, locking it. 6 floors up, no fire escape on this side. Whoever that was shouldn't have been able to reach my balcony at all. Trying to keep calm, I double-checked the front door's deadbolt. Then I texted the unknown number. "If that's you on my balcony, you're trespassing. I'm calling security." 3 dots appeared, someone typing. Then the dots disappeared. No message ever came through. Every instinct told me to call 911, but what exactly would I report? A shape in the dark during a blackout? Before I could decide, my phone buzzed again, same unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answered. A hushed voice, barely above a whisper, spoke. "Your hallway lights won't come back on." I felt my mouth go dry. "Who are you?" "I'm almost there," the voice rasped and hung up. "Almost where? My apartment?" I grabbed the heaviest thing within reach, the metal floor lamp, now useless without power, and stepped into the hallway, phone flashlight guiding me. pitch black. The emergency lights that were supposed to line the corridor were dead, and the stairwell was swallowing every sound. I listened for footsteps. Nothing. Then, faintly, I caught a scraping noise far below, metal on cement, echoing up the stairwell. Someone ascending, slowly, deliberately. I retreated, shutting and locking my door again. I dialed Believe Security. No answer, probably overwhelmed or without power themselves. Finally, I called 911. The dispatcher's voice was a lifeline of normalcy in the dark. I explained everything: the calls, the figure on the balcony, someone climbing inside the powerless building. Officers were already patrolling the city for blackout trouble, she said. They'd send a unit. I stayed on the line, crouched behind my couch, floor lamp gripped like a baseball bat. The dispatcher kept me talking, asking if I heard anything new. For a long stretch, I didn't, just the hot silence of the building and distant thunder. Then, unexpectedly, 3 slow knocks at my door. Not fists, more like someone rapping with a single knuckle. Tap, tap, tap. I whispered to the dispatcher that he was outside. She told me to stay put and keep quiet. The officers were close. Another knock, a little harder. Then the handle jiggled gently, as though whoever it was hadn't bothered to hide the attempt at entry. From the floor, I aimed my phone flashlight at the gap beneath the door. A shadow shifted, 2 feet standing there. Something slid into the gap, the edge of a paper card, maybe plastic. They were trying to pop the lock. "Police are coming!" I shouted, hoping it would matter. The card paused, a beat of silence, then that same raspy voice on the other side. "Your hallway lights won't come back on," it repeated, word for word, and then slowly the card withdrew. Heavy footsteps retreated down the hall, fast now, boots striking tile. I heard the stairwell door wrench open, metal shrieking on its hinges. Moments later, police sirens wailed outside. Blue and red strobes cut through my window, reflecting off the neighboring building. The dispatcher told me to put the phone down and open my door for the officers. When I did, the hallway was empty. The stairwell echoed with hurried boots. This time the cops. They swept every floor, every balcony, even the roof, but whoever had been there was gone, like they'd melted back into the blackout. The power returned just after 4 a.m. Lights blinked on one by one, humming appliances whirred back to life, and the city outside glowed again. But even with electricity, my apartment felt smaller, darker, like the night had soaked into its walls. The police traced the phone number. Disposable, prepaid, no ID, purchased with cash at a corner store 20 miles away. They reviewed the building's security cameras, but the outage killed the feeds exactly when the city went dark. Nothing to see. I keep replaying that whisper, "Your hallway lights won't come back on." Maybe it was just intimidation. Or maybe the stranger knew something about the building's ancient wiring. Either way, I replaced every lock on my door the next morning and bought a battery-powered floodlight the size of a brick. Power grids fail all the time in summer heat, but now whenever the lights flicker, my pulse spikes, and I find myself staring at the balcony glass, waiting for a silhouette that shouldn't be able to climb that high, yet somehow can, just when the world goes dark.